Welcome to Build Your Dream Business, brought to you by Solo. More than just a booking app, we're a community for independent pros in hair, beauty and wellness. I'm Katrina, here to bring you closer to real stories of success from the industry's finest and share practical advice to help your business flourish. At Solo, we understand the journey of working independently, and our goal is to connect, empower and inspire you. We're here to make sure that even though you work solo, you're never truly alone. In today's episode, we talk to beauty therapist Lindsay Hare about going solo in her business. We discuss using social media for promotion, managing operations, and the importance of client feedback. Welcome, Lindsay.
Thank you, Katrina. Lovely to be here, yeah?
So nice to have you. Why don't you sort of kick off by telling us how you've grown your business? Starting a new career is always challenging. How did you sort of find your first 20 clients? How did you get your business out there?
So where I was based, I was actually working in a local spa at the time, and I wasn't really looking to go self-employed, although that was sort of the main end goal. I always had this thing in my head that I wanted to, just before I was 30, to make sure I was self-employed. An opportunity arose to sort of rent a space, and I was really lucky in that I rented a space with an already amazing award-winning tea rooms, and they're award-winning, absolutely quite a success story in their own right. In that, again, you hear of it through COVID, they sort of changed and adapted their business. So their platform, they have followers of 17,000 people on Facebook, which is quite a lot for a small village. And if you see them on Instagram, they're very Instagrammable. They're absolutely amazing, all family run. So having that platform was so good for me as a business, but also through my treatments as well. Word of mouth has probably been the biggest thing for me. Sharing on Facebook to local community groups and things is a huge one as well, just getting your name out there, but really selling your service. With a massage therapy business, you need to explain what the experience is going to be for that client.
How did you go about promoting yourself in those Facebook groups? Did you have a strategy? Did you have like specific posts that you put out there?
Yeah, so bearing in mind, I'm no marketing media manager. I've never done any courses or anything like that, but I am quite interested in reels and making videos. And I think it's all about just capturing what they're going to get. So starting your post with a question. I sometimes put things like, "Are you ready to feel like you again?" Which sounds a little bit cheesy, but if you need to relax and you can't switch off, and you see that and a lovely room that's got lovely mood lighting, candles. If you see that, then you're ready to dive onto that bed and have a treatment. And just continually posting. I found that with Facebook, I worked out quite early on, if you post quite often, it'll show more of your posts to your followers. That's what I do. So it's part of my sort of routine of the day that I'll post something every day, if it's not just a review, something like that.
So what sort of things are you posting? Do you have like a content schedule that you try to follow?
I do, for example, I do pregnancy massage, and in one of my bespoke pregnancy treatments, we have a bespoke bump mask for the client, and it makes great content. Obviously, it's all asked pre to the client whether they're okay with it, and a little shot of the baby moving, things like that, to nice music, and it's just makes it a really nice intrigue and real, because it's not something that you see all of the time. But yeah, I do try and post quite often. That would be the main thing.
Would you say that social media has been a big part of getting new clients into your diary?
I would say so, yes, which is why Solo has been instrumental in helping that, because most booking sites, or if you use Facebook appointments, not that I have, you just, go on, you make your appointment. Whereas with Solo, you actually have a link that you can follow. You go to a website, it just feels more professional. It feels secure. This day and age, when people are, putting their deposits in using card details, they want to know it's secure. And with Solo, they have Stripe, so it's dead easy. You just put your card details in, and people love it. They absolutely love having that platform that they can just go on, look at all of the treatments, look at the menu. Because early on, I did spend a fortune on leaflets, which now it's not really been a big thing for me, because now I have the website with my menu all. Then it can be updated digitally at any point.
So you have this super strong social media strategy. How do you make sure that, the posts that you're putting out there and the engagement that you're getting on them actually turns into bookings?
I feel as though, as long as it's an engaging post, so if you've got your followers need to feel as though that they're getting something from you. I read early on, it was this fact, something about it takes 3 months for a client of stalking your page before they actually will book in with you on average. I worked that out quite early on. I do think it's a thing. And I think people, like to come back, engage, especially for treatments, massages. You've got to feel comfortable with who you're going to be going into that room to have a massage with. And posting at the right times in the right places, I think will get you bookings. For me, later on in the day, it seems to be the time that I'll actually turn a lot of those into bookings. When I do my posts on Instagram or Facebook, I'll always link my website, so my Solo link, again, which is amazing because at the booking websites you don't get the link. So I always put, book now, or book yours now, and then I'll put that on with a nice video, and you're always going to get 9 times out of 10 somebody looking. But having the link is great, and I can sort of measure how popular that's been, because in the Solo app you can look at your stats, so you can see how many views you've had on your website that day, for example.
Nice. And how do you keep those clients coming back time and time again? So you've got your social media strategy, you're posting, you've got your, website to turn them into bookings. Is there anything you kind of do to really go above and beyond to keep your clients returning?
I mean, I wouldn't want to put words in my clients' mouths because they're all aren't here and it's totally libelous. But I do feel as though, again, with beauty therapy in this sort of an industry, especially with massage, it's something that probably you have that is unique to you. So the power of touch is a huge thing. And early on, I used to be a little bit worried about, when you're new business, people looking at you, is there going to be people sort of trying to copy your template, things like that. But then somebody once said to me, nobody can be you. And that's the USP of it all. How you've made that client feel is going to be totally unique to you and your business. And I feel as though that is something that I do quite well.
Is there anything you sort of do practically that you've learned over time that really makes a difference in, showing your specific talents and getting those people coming back?
For me, I think it's little things within treatments. So, little things like a heated bed for when the client comes in, a glass of water at the end with lemon in, remembering what music they like. So, for example, some people don't like the music loud or quiet, or they might like rain music, things like that. So remember on all these little things, but also don't be afraid to ask for feedback. It was one of the things that I always do, and even now, at the end, I'll always ask somebody, "How do you feel?" Or is there anything that you can think of that would be a little bit better than you've had today? Because otherwise, if you don't ask that question and they haven't enjoyed it, they're going to walk out that door and you're never going to know. So at least if they said, "Oh, actually, I think this could have been better," you're at least thinking, "Okay, that's great, I can take that on board." Because we don't know everything straight away. It's never going to be perfect all of the time. And I think that's one thing that you just have to take on board.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time there can be like this fear in asking for feedback because it's almost like you're opening up yourself for what can be interpreted as maybe negative feedback, but actually it's just an opportunity for you to grow and, improve your treatment next time. And we can always do a little bit better, probably, which isn't to say that, the treatment that you provided wasn't up to par. But, just giving yourself that opportunity to grow by asking that feedback is huge.
100%. It's the easiest and cheapest way that you'll ever get market research ever. Just asking somebody who's just had a treatment how they feel. In your early days as well, don't be worried about asking people to leave a review. We all do it wherever we go. If you go on holiday or if you go to a hotel, you look at the reviews. But again, Solo does take that out of your sort of hands if you did forget, because we do have a million things to think about when you're a small business owner. But when you complete your appointment on your Solo app, it'll send an email and it'll ask the client to leave a review as well. So you're always going to have that nice professional way to end the treatment as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true, what you said about having so many different plates to spin as a solo professional. I mean, you've just spoken about all of the social media work that you have to do, your own marketing, posting, getting back to clients, photographing your space. How do you manage your time? How do you kind of make sure that everything gets done?
I'll be totally honest, I think it still is. I mean, as I said, it was a year, the 24th of March, that we've been in business. And I still think it's going to be one of those things that I'm just going to have to learn. Going from employed to self-employed is a huge mindset shift. Having a security blanket of, your salary coming in every month is, and then going, from being on your own, it's just you. It's just you there, that you've got all these plates you're spinning. But in terms of managing time, the biggest thing is the booking system for me. It took so much. It took so much time, admin tasks that does take away from, you thinking of how you want to grow your treatments, because that is where you're specialising in. We're not admin specialists. We're professional, beauty therapists. So that's the way I think of it. Delegation is key, definitely. And try not to do everything yourself. I try to do everything myself at the start, and it's just, you don't want to end up burning yourself out.
Yeah. Are there any other tools that you use to kind of help you with, I don't know, content creation, other areas of the business apart from Solo?
Yeah, so on sort of Instagram, Facebook, you can schedule posts. So I do all of that, and then I at least make sure once or twice a day something is posted. So it might just be a nice review. On Solo, when a client leaves a review, you can go into the website and create a lovely little professional um, paragraph basically to screenshot it, and then you can share that on your social media, add your Solo link, and again, it's just making sure that you're consistent and you're there all of the time. As well with Solo, I also put sort of like personal things in my diary for the day. So my day is categorized in what I'm doing. So it keeps you organized that way.
Nice. How do you organize that? How do you kind of make sure that, you're not working when you said that you won't be working, that you're giving yourself enough downtime?
I feel as though only just recently I've definitely 100% decided on sort of my hours and things, because when you start, it is about just building that. You have to build your clients. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. I would say it took me about 8 months to feel as though could sort of settle a little bit and I had regular people. And you've got to be prepared to do things that other people in your area aren't doing. So, for example, I worked a Sunday evening. I used to work 9 till 8 on a Sunday. People love a treatment on a Sunday. Who doesn't want to go at 5 o'clock when your kids are in bed or whatever? You've had your weekend, and then you can just go off and you can have your massage. So it's things like that that are going to set you apart. Also, with setting your sort of professional boundaries, it's so easy, which I didn't think it would be as easy, but when you're doing a job that you absolutely love, it's so easy when you get a text from a client saying, "Oh, can you just squeeze me in that day?" And because you love what you do, it doesn't feel like a job. So early on, you'd say yes to everything. But I think now what I've realised is the quality of my treatment for my clients is ultimately needs to be 100%. And if I don't give myself time to recharge, that ultimately that quality is going to be reduced. So yeah, balance, work-life balance, I'm still working on it. I'm not going to say I'm totally there with it, but definitely setting hours, sticking to them, and taking time out for your body as well, and treating yourself to treatments or doing whatever you need to do to relax, is key.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a physical job, and I think it's so easy to underestimate how much of a physical job it is and how much downtime you do really need. Like, I'm not going to say that beauty therapists are athletes, but we're not far off, you know? It's very, you're constantly working with your hands and with your body. So, recovery is a huge part of that.
The mental side as well, because you've got to think that some clients come to you to release a lot of trauma as well. People don't realise, again, going back to my earlier point of the power of touch and things like that, you do get clients that come to you for that escapism. So sometimes you can be, on hand to hear things as well. So it's the looking after that side, and not draining yourself as well. Because again, you want to be the best that you can be. That person spent that money with you, and it needs to be. I always pride myself on the thought that this needs to be value for whatever they've paid. But yeah, definitely try not to burn yourself out. And ultimately, the clients that you've got will want you to take that rest because they want the treatment to be perfect, how they've had it in the past, for example.
That's such a good point, actually. It can be a little bit easier to think about, physical rest, but at the same time, we can be taking that physical rest, but then mentally we're actually on our laptops and we're scheming and we're looking for the new project.
I mean, I say all this, Katrina. I do say all this, and as I said, people who know me will be thinking, "Oh yeah, whatever, Lindsay." Like I'm up at 3 in the morning researching what new treatment I can have. At the moment, I won't say too much because it's an exclusive, but I'm going to be bringing a new treatment in June. Trying to work full time, run a business, trying to qualify in another treatment. It is hard, but you've just got to be organised. That's what you've got to be. Just organised.
Yeah, it's easier said than done. But I think, the awareness of the fact that, you do need to take physical and mental rest is a good first step, isn't it? Even though we're not always perfect with it. But knowing that we should probably be doing it is better than having no awareness of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of, your sort of goals, what are your goals going forward apart from introducing new treatments?
By the end of the year, I'm hoping to bring another two or potentially three new treatments. Probably more so body treatments and maybe a new facial treatment. And then, sort of in the long term, you're talking maybe 5 years or maybe plus, I'd like to do sort of teaching, and sort of one to one. With my insurance, it's absolutely amazing. The guild, they do a course basically for to do your teaching basically, and you can have your business as an academy, and you basically teach what you're qualified in. But I just feel as though it would just be, I'd love to do that and pass on knowledge. But also going back to, sort of the job itself, it's a really nice way that, when I'm hopefully not going to be massaging into my 70s, obviously, it's, another avenue to think about, in terms of sort of income streams and things like that. But also, you're never going to have too many people teaching in beauty. It's a great way to pass on the knowledge to people.
Yeah. As you kind of evolve and, grow your skill set and become a more established business, how do you work out your pricing in line with your sort of, growing experience?
It's really hard. I would honestly say it's really hard. It's something I really struggled with. One thing that I would say though is don't do the sort of fatal error of just looking in your local area and then match that or undercut it. Because the problem with that is you don't know what their overheads are. You've got to think about what yours are personally. Obviously, within reason, you need to look sort of and not outprice yourself. But I think a big mistake is what people do is just look in the local area, undercut it a little bit, and then don't think about anything to do with you. What I did personally is literally just to the nth degree, look at what my overheads were and how that was going to work for me. But also, you need to realise, it needs to be affordable for your market. Think about your people that you're targeting, but also look at your own overheads.
Yeah, that's smart. And it kind of means that you don't suddenly get into the swing of things, start taking clients and realize I'm actually paying myself under minimum wage now.
Yeah, because a lot of what people do is look at the people, um, and they might have like this great package on or something, but then actually you literally don't know whether they're making money off that price.
Have you increased your prices since you started?
Yeah, I just increased them slightly, purely only because some of the brands, professional brands that I use, had put their trade prices up and everything. I still feel as though that, the price that I have for my treatments is still affordable for people and still really affordable in the way of what they're receiving back.
Yeah, and it's so important to charge your worth. I think so often, when you're doing a job that feels like, that's a vacation and that feels like maybe not so much of a job sometimes because you do it out of the love for it, it's easy to forget that you do actually need to make money.
It's really funny that you say that because I can remember, I think it was like, might have even been my first client, and I felt so awkward taking money off people. I couldn't do it. I found it really awkward. And like if people, I don't know, paying in cash or something, and they'd be like, "Oh, I haven't got it," and I'm like, "Oh, it's fine, it's fine."
Don't even pay me. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Or I'd like say it was £1, I'd be, "Oh no, it's fine," and then like you just think, "Why did I do that?" Asda don't do that when you're paying for your shopping. Do you know what I mean? And that's how you've got to think. And it's the same if you get, some maybe cheekier people where they'll message you like, "Oh, can you discount this?" And you think, well, if you go in Asda and you do your shopping or Tesco's and you're paying for your Kenko, they don't change their price. So it's the same. We're still businesses and we still need to think of we're professional people. We've all got mortgages to pay. I can't ring and pay my mortgage on nothing. So you've got to remember that. But yeah, it was really bizarre. I felt really weird at the start about taking money off people, which is ridiculous, really, because you think, well, actually, I've done an hour and a half treatment there. I need to be paid for it.
You can see why it happens because you have that, very personal connection, you're one-on-one, especially when you do all, your business relationship almost becomes a friendship. So it's so much harder to draw the line than it would be with so many other services.
Although, what I would say though is when you find you sort of your great clients, which I feel like since January, I've attracted so many amazing people. I've got the most amazing clients. And when you get those clients, those are the people that will not let you do that. And they will tell you that you are worth your weight in gold. And they'll probably always give you a tip. Or if they don't give you a tip, they'll share your business everywhere. And it's those people that you need to appreciate and keep. What I do for my clients on Facebook is I have like a separate VIP group for my regulars, and in there they get sort of early access to new treatments, early access. I do like a monthly package every month, and they'll have an early access booking for that. On the birthdays they get their discount, that through Solo, and I just do that for my regulars. And it's just nice because you end up having this community of people that love your business. And then you don't need any marketing, because if somebody you know and trust and love came to you and said, "Katrina, you need to go to this woman. She's amazing. Best massage I've ever had in my life," you'd 100% book. 100%. Rather than some sort of cheesy advert on Instagram, you'd definitely look. Or you'd at least look at it.
Word of mouth is so powerful, and it all stems from, going that extra mile that isn't, giving somebody a fiver off their treatment every time.
It really cheapens it.
Yeah.
I very rarely sort of discount a treatment. Even sort of when I do these monthly packages, they're not an offer. It's not an offer. It's like your spa package. So these are, your higher end, longer treatments, really nourishing for the body, and then beautifully ended by hot stones. And again, that's why it's really nice to have a multitude of price points so then people can decide what they want. But it's not to say that it's a discounted monthly offer. So staying true to, again, covering the costs and everything.
Yeah, the offer is that you've taken the time to put together something special.
People love it. People love that time. They love because otherwise I feel like with massage, keeping people coming back, you've always got to try and think of new things in terms of, so with the packages, what I like about that and what my clients always say to me is they would end up just having the same treatment every time, and then it could get a little bit like, oh, do I want to go this month? I need to get my nails done, I need to get a hair done. So if there's a new monthly package and people aren't fussed about what they're having every month and they want to try something different, that's when that is a brilliant thing to have.
Nice. How do you come up with them? Where do you get the inspiration for them? Is it quite seasonal?
Yeah, sort of seasonal. So the way it started, I did it from November last year till, well, it was supposed to only be November till January, my winter warmers, and there was three different ones, and then they all had sort of like hot stones or more body treatments, but it just exploded. Like people loved them, so I actually left those on till the end of March. And then, again, in my little group, I asked for feedback all of the time, and everybody said, "Oh, please, can you just keep doing monthly packages and things?" I was like, "Yeah, we can do that." So yeah, so it's just sort of, as we move into more summer, it'll probably be again, your body scrubs and things like that. Facials focused more with your vitamin C's and things as we come into summer and things like that. But yeah, it's a really nice way to offer, get excitement as well. People get excited. My clients are hilarious. They get so excited. I mean, what are we on? What's the date today? They'll be chomping at the bit because I haven't put it on yet. And they get excited for it.
And that's the power of that community, as you say, because we're asking for feedback, you're putting out, new offers that your community have asked for, that, they've contributed towards those ideas. So rather than you just, thinking something up off the top of your head, it's going to land because you've asked for feedback.
It's just really good because then, you know what people want. People maybe get in the head what they want to do, especially same with hours as well. And as much as, again, we all need balance and things like that, you still are running a business and you still need to provide the service that your clients want. Otherwise, you're going to alienate people. So talking to your clients, building that network, building community has been huge for me.
Yeah, super powerful. So circling back to the beginning of your journey, what was your biggest fear before going self-employed?
So before I went self-employed, or before even I was a beauty therapist, so I worked in finance for 8 years. So from the age of 21 to obviously I left like 29. I had a really, really stable job, really secure. When you are in those jobs, it is hard to leave. And as much as, there was aspects of that job I liked, I always wanted to have this business. I mean, my first job, I worked on makeup counters. I wanted to be a makeup artist at 17. Obviously, who didn't want to be a makeup artist? Everybody had that era, didn't they? Of the MAC brush sets. Um, and yeah, so I did have sort of a beauty background, but then I got this sensible job and it just lasted 8 years too long, really. But over that time, though, it allowed me to go and do the courses I needed. And then the big sort of kick for me was in COVID. I was working at home. And at that point, that was when I went on to do my level 3. And then in the sort of June, so it would have been June 2022, that's when I left that job and then started working in spas and things like that. I went up to Scotland for a bit, came home, worked here, and then this opportunity arose about 4 months later, and I was like, oh my God, really? Should I go? And I thought, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? It's better regretting it, isn't it, than no, it's awful to think, oh, what could have been.
Yeah, like you'd done that foundational work, you'd done all your courses alongside your day job, and you got the work experience in the spa, and it's like you were ready at that point. What else would have been the next step? And when an opportunity like that comes along, it's just that feeling of everything falling into place, isn't it?
Yeah, as soon as I went into that room, I think I was one of the first people when they were changing the rooms upstairs, and we went in, and I literally turned to my boyfriend. I was like, we both said at the same time, he's like, we need to do it. He was like, we're just going to do it. And I was like, oh God, okay, fine. I don't know how we're going to do this, but we'll do it. And then I can remember like weeks later, I'm still working full time trying to get this room sorted. Oh, and there was loads of things that went wrong. And I can always remember being sat on the floor and Sean was like painting away. And I literally just burst into tears, like, what if nobody comes? What if like nobody comes at all? And he was like, obviously they're gonna come, like it'll be fine. But I think you've just got to take risks. I think when I left that job that I'd been so unhappy for a long time, I just promised myself that in sort of going into my 30s, any opportunity I would get, I'm just going to take it.
You got to take those risks. How did you do it logistically? So, you accepted the space. What were the kind of next steps?
Accepted the space, then it took me a while to get it how I wanted it because I'm a little bit finicky, I would say, about things, how I wanted it. And then it was just, ordering everything, waiting for the bed, because I got my massage bed imported from Spain because I wanted it right. And all my clients that love my bed, I'm sure they only come to lie in my bed for like an hour. Then the idea was actually at the start that I was going to still work in my job sort of part time and run this business, see where it went, because I wasn't expecting it to go as mental as it did. And then within 2 weeks, I had to leave my job because it just went mental. And I thought, if I don't ride the wave of this and make a big thing of this now, then it could all not work. And I really think, although that was probably the biggest decision I made, leaving that job like total on my own, I think if I hadn't done that, I don't think it would have probably taken off as quickly as it did, because I just didn't have the time to be able to do those clients if I was working at the same time.
How did all those clients come to you so quickly? That's incredible.
I think my first introduction video that I put on, I'm sure it had about 7,000 views, which I know some people would think, oh, that's not a lot, but for, a small business, small area, it's quite a lot of views. I do watch it now and I think, oh, it's so cheesy, but people love the cheese, don't they? And I think it says something along the lines of, welcome to my world, or welcome, or find somewhere that you need to relax, or something like that. And then it sort of just pans round to my room. My room's like a really deep green, and then it has all the like nice candles and everything. But it always makes me laugh, when I watch it back, because at the time of filming it, we were trying to get the room sorted, and the room actually wasn't finished in it. And it always makes me laugh when I watched it, because Sean, my boyfriend, was hiding with my friend in the bathroom because I just said, right, just get in, I need to quickly do it. So when I watch it back, I can sort of see like an orange like top. I know it's just them two like crouched down in the bathroom. Because I was like, shut up, we need to do this. But yeah, it wasn't anything too thing. But I think it was just like, welcome to, it says at the end something like, welcome to my world, or something like that. I just think it's something engaging, it's interesting.
That's hilarious. Every time you watch it, you just see them in the background. That's showbiz, baby. What can you do?
It's hilarious because he was like whittering on about something. I was like, right, Sean, you need to be quiet. The camera's on. It's so funny.
We're rolling.
But yeah, that was the point where I needed a booking system because my diary was just ridiculous. I was like, I can't cope with this. And it was great for when I got solo as well. It was the consultation forms. I think when I first started, I spent an absolute fortune designing these consultation forms when, now they're digital, they're done. Before the client even comes in the room, they're done. So it's just so easy. And also the good thing for me personally for that is if there's any contraindications to treatments or anything I need to discuss, I've got that information prior to the treatment, so I can either change the treatment, we can have that conversation before, because otherwise then that's eating into your time and your treatment, well, the client's treatment. So it just runs very smoothly.
Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it? Getting all of those sort of nitty gritty bits out of the way digitally first.
It's like little things, if you're doing, I don't know, if somebody's selected hot stones, for example, and they've got a high blood pressure or they can't have it for whatever reason, I know well before, so we don't have to have that awkward conversation that, somebody's popping in for a treatment, they're so excited, and then I've got to tell them in person, oh, well, actually, you can't have that. So that can all be sorted prior, and it's just professional. It's nice for people to have that.
Yeah, meanwhile, clock is ticking, you're eating into your treatment time, we're going to have to do another one. We don't have an hour anymore. We've got 15 minutes, discussing it all.
Yeah, and then you've got to, again, there's no cleaners that come in halfway through. It's the cleaner is here. I'm there with my mop. When I've had a body treatment, I've got mud all up the shower walls. It's me that's in the shower sorting it. So anything that can save you time is going to be of benefit to you, and that really saves a lot of time for me.
Is there anything you wish you knew when you first started out? Is there like any advice that you'd give yourself at the beginning of your journey?
I think it goes back to trying to get into this mindset that you're self-employed. I did struggle. I found it a little bit lonely at first, because it is just you and nobody really knows what you're talking about. When if you come home, it's the same if you're in a job and you come home, and when you're talking to your partner on a night and you're like, oh yeah, da da da, and they literally look at you like, I have no idea, I can't help you. And Sean will be like, I don't know about facials, Lindsay. I don't know what you mean. I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot. So I think the one thing would be trying to build a network of professionals around you, so that you can, you have your beauty therapist people around you that you can talk to. Again, Solo do it amazing because they have this community of other professionals that you can talk to, you can have a whinge to, you can share points, and it just makes you feel less on your own sometimes. But yeah, definitely getting a network around you of other professionals is key, because I think at first it is a lot straight away when you're on your own.
Absolutely. Being a self-employed beauty professional is, yeah, it can be a lonely place, but then, building that community around you can sort of, put you into a situation where you almost feel like you do have this team.
Yeah, like I've got, and don't be scared to refer people. I hear some people all the time like, oh, I wouldn't want to turn away business sort of thing and refer. But to me, I think that's a bit silly, because the way I look at it is I know what I'm good at, I know what I'm not, I know what I'm qualified for, I know my remit, and I wouldn't sort of over tell people what I can do and what I can't do. So if somebody comes to me and wants a treatment, for example, that I don't do, I'm not going to pretend I can do it.
I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I know. But it's really strange to me, because then I feel as though you're not going to build that rapport. So, for example, I've got a really lovely regular client who, when she initially came to me, wanted more of a sports deep tissue massage. It's not something I do. People sort of categorize massage, they don't realize it's, there's a lot of different things to it. And I referred her on to somebody else. She still comes back to me every month for her other treatments that she has with me, because she now knows that I'm not gonna be talking rubbish to her, because I said to her, look, there's nothing I can do that'll give you that outcome that you want, so this is where you need to go. And there are businesses in the area that I work with, and we refer things to each other. And I just think it's nice. It's nice to help each other. There's plenty of business that you can help other people as well.
Yeah, and as you say, it's huge in building that trust. Once you turn a client away for something, that actually lets them know that you're never just going to give something a go that isn't in your area of expertise. Now they know that whatever treatment you're performing on them, you're going to be an expert in that.
At the end of the day, you need to gauge what that client's expectation is at the end of that treatment. And if you don't specialise in something you don't know, one, you could cause them more damage than you need to. You're probably not going to be insured for it if you're just willingly saying that. And why not give somebody a chance in your local area who specialises in that? You know, they're really passionate about it, and then everybody can share business that way. That's one of the biggest things that I do.
Yeah, and what goes around comes around. Exactly. They might refer you for something that, that you're excellent at. Exactly.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. It's been such a pleasure chatting to you. And I think so many wonderful tips and such an inspirational journey, just listening to how things kind of fell into place, but also all the hard work that you had to put in. I think there have been so many lovely takeaways for our listeners to put into action for their own businesses. So thank you so much for sharing.
No problem. It's been lovely.
Thank you for listening. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favourite podcast app. If you like the episode, why not leave a review or share it with a beauty industry friend? And if you're curious about Solo, you can download it for free on the App Store or Google Play and take advantage of our free trial.